What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Leicesters. Today we're carrying on with our score predictions. We've made it to match day 34. So much has happened in the championship in the past couple of weeks or so. I myself am struggling to keep up with it. Sorry for no video on Monday. Again, I've got studies all over my mind, and definitely in the next 2 weeks or so is going to be very full on with studies at this moment in time. But around March time, things are going to start becoming a little bit more normal for you guys. So we're going to carry on predicting. Make sure you comment your championship predictions in the comments down below so you guys can have a chance to enter for Leicesters Football Prediction League. And there will be an update coming very soon. If you guys like what you see, please smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. If we can hit 50 likes, that will be absolutely amazing. Please do hit the subscribe button too, because it really does help the growth of this channel. We're slowly making our way to 2,500, which is sensational to me. I definitely would not have thought that we can make it this far. And please also share the channel too. All three of these things are free to do, and they really do help. Without any further ado, let's start predicting these weekend's games. We're going to start off with tomorrow's games. Let's go with Coventry versus Preston first. Coventry are themselves in a very interesting position, all the way up in 7th place, only 3 points behind Hull City, who occupy a 6th place position. And Coventry's form has been relatively good. They snuck in a narrow 1-0 away win against Stoke City, getting the job done. It was a bit of a tough game for them, but they did manage to get the result, and that is really all that mattered for Coventry, considering how consistent they're going to have to be if they're going to catch Hull and West Brom at this rate. Preston, they are not out of the conversation. They have really turned around their form big time. They are undefeated in the last 5, with 3 of those 5 games containing wins. Because of that, Preston are on 49 points. So they've got a 5-point gap from Hull. But I'm telling you, if they can stretch that unbeaten run for a little bit longer, they could find themselves knocking on the door. And this is a very important game here, because this was a really genuine chance for Preston to overtake Coventry in the table and could momentarily be within a matter of points within the top 6. So for playoff ambitions, this should be a game for both sides wanting to pick up 3 points. As a prediction, I think the rate of goals I'm seeing flying in, especially from Coventry, the confidence I'm seeing in their forward lines now, I think for me is going to be more likely that Coventry may get a result here. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Coventry. I'm a little bit more confident with their forward line, which is the only reason why I'm really backing them over Preston, despite Preston having a really good run of form at this moment in time. Could easily be a draw. I wouldn't be surprised. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is the big one. Leeds versus Leicester. Now, the reverse fixture was one of the most tense championship games I've seen this season. It was only 1-0. It was to the away side, Leeds United. I think it was Leicester's one of Leicester's first home defeats of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was either Hull or Leeds that made Leicester lose their first game in the King Power this season. And Leeds are just on a relentless run at this moment, and nothing's stopping them. And 5 clean sheets in 5 games is it's insane. It's unheard of. So not only are they scoring goals, but they have really got their back line fixed as well. Leicester similarly having a good run, but it was halted by Middlesbrough last weekend. They lost again at home, a 2-1 victory to Middlesbrough, which is a brilliant result for them. They, I think, could be the only team that do the double over Leicester this season. But this is huge, because Leicester are still containing a 9-point lead from Leeds. But if Leeds win this game, they narrow that gap down to 6. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't look so one-sided in the league. So a win for Leicester here could almost dismiss any chances that Leicester are going to fear getting caught by Leeds, Ipswich or Southampton, honestly. So I would be expecting Leicester to really give a good account of themselves here. But as a prediction, I think the form that Leeds are on right now, I think it's going to be very difficult to get one past them. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Leeds. I'm serious here. I really do think it's going to really be difficult to dislodge this Leeds squad as it stands. And even against top of the league, I think Leeds could have a really good go at them. So I'm going to say 2-0 Leeds. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Hull versus West Brom. Another huge game because it's 6th versus 5th. Now, it gives a good opportunity for the sides like Coventry, Norwich and Preston to potentially make ground on one of these two sides, because at least one of these sides is going to drop points this weekend. Hull, they are still within the conversation. They actually won their game in hand that they had against Southampton, of course. Brilliant 2-1 victory, considering Southampton were going into this game with only one defeat in 25. It has now set a couple of panic stations for Southampton, but a terrific victory nonetheless for Hull City. Played absolutely brilliantly. West Brom themselves, they also won their game in hand, and this time against Plymouth, and won pretty comfortably at home park. West Brom, whilst they sustained some pressure for Plymouth, they were very comfortable in the end. They really took their chances, and it was crucial as well, because Hull at the time were winning and West Brom were momentarily in 6th place. So West Brom are definitely trying to maintain a gap from the chasing pack in the top 6, and they've got a really good chance to do so against their biggest rival for that playoff space in Hull City. As a prediction, I think both sides are playing relatively well at the moment, and therefore don't think I've got the bravery to back either one of them, even though I really want to spice things up. I'm going to go for a pretty unhelpful 1-1 draw between these two sides. I think both of them really want 3 points, but I think they're going to get a draw. Let me know what you think, however, in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Blackburn versus Norwich. Blackburn, I don't know what to say about them at the moment. They're still winless with John Eustace coming in, and it's 2 draws in a row. And I've got to say, I think Blackburn have been working on their defence. They sustained a 0-0 draw with Cardiff in their midweek game, so it looks like to me that they're really trying to address the leakiness that they had in their backline, which I think is good. But at the same time, if they're sacrificing goals as a result, there's also the danger where they could potentially drop some really, big opportunities for some points. They're facing a Norwich side where Norwich at this moment have really improved their form also. Since getting Sargent back from injury, he has been a revelation. I think it's 6 goals in his last 5 games. So Sargent is on absolute fire right now. So I do think he will be right up for this game. Barnes has played a really big role as well. And despite the absence of Jonathan Rowe, I think with the amount of influx of players, returning from injury, especially in that striker position, I think has almost given Norwich a new lease of life again. As a prediction, I think it's going to be a Norwich win. I can't lie. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory to Norwich. They're scoring loads of goals at the moment. I'm still not quite convinced in their back line. I have been having question marks over their back line all season, but I do think they will still win despite not keeping a clean sheet. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Cardiff versus Stoke. Now, I really think this could be a 0-0 draw, but I really do not want this to be a 0-0 draw at this moment. I don't know what's going on with Cardiff at this moment. They picked up that 1-0 away win against Watford, but since then 3 consecutive defeats, and then that draw against Blackburn as well, where it was just a little bit of a nothing game. I think Cardiff went closer to scoring compared to the two sides, but it wasn't really anything that really stuck with me. Stoke similarly, I mean, they had a little bit of a honeymoon period when Steven Schumacher came in, but now it's 4 defeats in 5, and now the reality is setting in that they are a team fighting relegation. There's no doubt about it. When you're 3 points and only 3 points ahead of 22nd at this stage of the season, you are fighting a relegation battle, and that is unacceptable for Stoke to be in this position as of now. And really, as a prediction, I don't know. I really do not know. I'm drawn to edge Cardiff with them being at home, but I really don't think we'll see many goals at all. If we get a goal, it'll be a miracle at this point. As a prediction, I'm going to go for 1-0 home victory to Cardiff. I think they may squeak 1 goal through, and I think it's going to be enough. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now to a game which I think will get a load of goals. Ipswich versus Birmingham. So, Ipswich, I mean, I don't know how I can describe what on earth happened at Portman Road. We've had a couple of games at Portman Road that have ended in the style that they did. But my goodness me, they were playing on fan base's emotions throughout that stoppage time. To concede a penalty in the 96th minute, to then score a 97th minute winner straight from kickoff is unheard of. I can't believe it, really. And I had a really bad feeling about Rotherham. It's the last watch along I did before I stopped streaming momentarily as well. There was just something that I had a really bad feeling about with Rotherham, and it looked like that Cafu was going to make my fear a reality. But Murray Hutchinson comes in and saves is like an understatement. Absolutely saves Ipswich, really just making the hard work Wes Burns put through, count in the end. So I'm really pleased for Ipswich at their par, and the fact that Southampton lost, huge result, absolutely huge result. Would have been an opportunity miss if Ipswich didn't get that last minute winner and it ended 3-3, considering Southampton lost as well. Birmingham themselves, I don't know how they're going to react, because obviously we heard the news about Tony Mowbray stepping aside from football to complete his surgery. I wish him a speedy recovery and send him all my prayers as well. And it's a shame, really, because, he's got a good relationship with Ipswich, actually. So he would have had a very warm welcome return at Portman Road. But I think with this game, I'm getting the reality that Ipswich are going to be a team that are going to concede so many goals. It's just really going to be down to, can they outscore the opposition? You know what? A 2-2 draw would have surprised me, although that is exactly what happened in a reverse fixture. So I'm going to spice things up, and I'm going to go for a 3-2 victory to Ipswich. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be one of those games again where they start really well. They let Birmingham back into it, and then in the second half, it's like a basketball game, and whatever result happens. So, bit of a lottery, but I'm going to go for a 3-2 victory to Ipswich. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Middlesbrough versus Plymouth. Two very different results in their last game. Middlesbrough, what a win for them against Leicester City. I mean, they're going to be the only team to do the double over Leicester this season. I think it's only possible. I think only Hull are the only other team who could potentially do it, but right now that is some achievement, and it's a shame, really, because their form has just been so inconsistent. They're currently on 44 points, and they've got 10 points to try and breach to get into the top 6, so it's going to be very difficult for Middlesbrough. But if they can get a good unbeaten run now with 13 games left of the season, who knows what we can see with Middlesbrough, because we can see that they can battle with the best of the rest if they can get their tactics right. Plymouth, they are in a pretty precarious position. They've got 3 defeats in their last 4, conceding quite a fair few goals. They did ship 3 goals, I believe, against Leeds in their last game. So right now, it definitely could be better times for Plymouth as well. In fact, they shipped 2 against Leeds. It was 3 against West Brom, so I'll correct myself there. But that's 5 goals conceded in their last 2 games. So defense-wise, having a little bit of a major problem at this moment of time. And I do think away from home, whilst they have picked up their first away win quite recently, which was huge, I think it's going to be quite difficult to get one against Middlesbrough. So as a prediction, I think Plymouth could get something, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm still not backing Middlesbrough to be consistently getting a good streak of results. And I think Plymouth is going to be a tough enough game that they may get something. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is QPR versus Rotherham. QPR are fighting for their lives. They picked up a crucial win last weekend. It was massive to get that away victory against Bristol City, considering the form that they were going into that game as well. Incredible. A very typical championship result. A team not in good form beating the informed team. And that has found themselves in a really nice position. They are 1 point of safety. So right now, I definitely think that there's a little bit more hope with QPR. And they're facing 19-point Rotherham, which we saw midweek. They cannot defend to save their lives. They do have an aerial threat, and they do have some pacey players that can be devastating on the counter-attack. But whether they take their chances is another question. And quite honestly, I see QPR winning this one. Now, Rotherham, they've got QPR, but their next game is Sheffield Wednesday. For Rotherham's sake, they need 6 points minimum, which, is insane to ask for 2 wins. But considering the position that they're in, they need to be on 25 points and preventing Sheffield Wednesday and QPR extending their lead from them. So if they want any chance of survival, that's got to be the case. So this will be the beginning of the end for me if Rotherham do not pick up even 3 points in this game. And as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to QPR. I'm a lot more confident with their setup and how they're going about with the game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Sheffield Wednesday versus Bristol City. So Sheffield Wednesday, again, they picked up a monumental win in their last game out. And what that has done, that has given them only 4 points of safety. Considering it was against their relegation rival Millwall as well, they've really put the pressure on Millwall, and we've seen that based on their decision that they've made in the last 24 hours. And right now, again, likewise with QPR, I think there's a little bit of belief that Danny Roll could get Sheffield Wednesday out of this. They just need to really pick up some big results at home. So this game for me is crucial. Now, Bristol City, of course, they had that terrific form, didn't they? And then that was followed then by a shock defeat against QPR, of course. So is this going to be the thing we're going to see with Bristol City struggling to break these relegation teams down potentially? As a prediction, this is really tough. This is actually the toughest prediction so far because I can see all 3 outcomes, home, away win and draw, happening for certain reasons or another. Therefore, I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to cowardly not back either one of them to pick up a result. But honestly, this is really going to be a crucial game, and I'm really intrigued to see the outcome of this one. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Southampton versus Millwall. Now, I will have my eye on this game. Southampton, can they respond to that really poorly timed defeat against Hull City? They really are going to have to keep up the pace now, considering the form that Leeds United are showing. You know, they can't afford any more slip-ups, otherwise it will have to be the playoffs for Southampton. And I feel like they know within themselves that they've played well enough to earn that second promotion place, and they just really need to be a bit more careful when playing out from the back. I think Hull really exposed their vulnerability for getting out-pressed in their penalty box. Millwall is going to be very interesting. So, if you didn't hear the news, Joe Edwards has parted company. He's been dismissed as Millwall manager, only lasting a couple of months within the job. 4 consecutive defeats is ultimately what has dismissed him, and with Millwall only being 1 point above the relegation zone, I can understand why they are really feeling the pressure. Their choice of manager, Neil Harris. Of course, you know, his first managerial job was Millwall. He played for Millwall as a player. He was caretaker, then permanent manager, and he has been the manager that has taken Millwall from League One to the Championship. So does this feel like a bit of a sentimental appointment potentially? Is this one that maybe if they do get relegated, Neil Harris may be deemed a safe pair of hands to get them back up to the Championship? I don't know. But based on his other stints, I thought he did all right with Cardiff, got into the playoffs in his first season. Second season was a bit more disastrous. Joined Gillingham and obviously, unfortunately, got them relegated. They were pretty doomed, I've got to be honest, when he did join them eventually. And then got dismissed there. He then joined Cambridge, and I think he did a decent job at Cambridge. And then obviously, you know, Cambridge have lost their manager pretty abruptly, actually. So I do feel a bit bad for Cambridge in this situation here. But this is going to be interesting. Will Millwall get a response with a new, you know, manager in? But a manager that knows the club and knows what to do about it. As a prediction, I think it's going to be a tight affair, but I think it's going to be a Southampton win. I think at home, Southampton have proven to be really strong. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. It's probably the most realistic result, but whether that will be the result, who knows, because the Championship could really throw one of these shocking results at us. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Sunderland versus Swansea. So, Sunderland going into this game, it is really just shocking what has happened to them. So, they had that really bad performance in the end against Birmingham, which has got them, you know, Mick Beale dismissed, and it was really terrible. Just the events that actually have followed since his sacking as well. It felt like one of these appointments where the fans weren't really with him from the start. A bit like Wayne Rooney to Birmingham, to be quite honest. Sunderland at the moment, 2 consecutive defeats, 47 points. I mean, they still have a chance to get into the top 6. It's a lot more difficult now. They're looking in that more mid-table position. But if they can get a good run of games together, I do think they could get themselves up there. Now, Mike Dodds is taking charge whilst they're looking for a permanent manager. Swansea, I did see them actually when they played against Ipswich. They've looked good, pretty tidy on the ball, defensively looking a little bit shaky. So there's pros and cons to the way that Swansea are playing. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a typical game where I think Sunderland will play quite well. It did feel like that there was a real disconnect going round, and I think he did lose the players, Mick Beale. So I would not be surprised if Sunderland play an incredible game now that they've, not got him anymore. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Sunderland. I think they will respond actually really positively. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The final game to predict is Watford versus Huddersfield. Now, Watford are pretty much slap bang middle of the championship at the moment, 11th place, a little bit further behind Sunderland, also 10 points behind the top 6 alongside Bristol City and Middlesbrough. So all 3 of these teams are going to have to be almost perfect with their form to get into the top 6 at this moment of time. It does feel like a bit of a distant memory for Watford, even though not mathematically possible yet. Huddersfield, they've got bigger priorities to worry about. They've got relegation to contend with. They're only 2 points above QPR. And honestly, they had such a devastating couple of games. Losing 5-3 to Southampton and then losing in the last minute against Hull City. So they have had a couple of really devastating results recently, Huddersfield. And they have changed managers as well, as I learned from my video yesterday. So Huddersfield's new manager, I believe it's Andre Breitenreiter. So I have heard of that name. He won the Swiss League, I believe, which was, I think, his most recent credentials. He was managing a bit of the Bundesliga as well. So I think this is going to be an interesting appointment. But is it a little bit late in the season? Did Darren Moore really get his dismissal justified? I mean, Darren Moore's already got a job now at Port Vale. So I do feel maybe it's the board just still fearing about the situation at the moment. And it's tense. The relegation picture is always very intense. And we are going to see these sorts of decisions fly. And sometimes it's almost better to stick with someone that can definitely deliver the results. As a prediction, I don't know, to be quite honest. Watford have been quite inconsistent. Huddersfield been playing quite well, but results have been pretty inconsistent. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, I think. I genuinely think that they can cancel each other out here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, these are my predictions for the championship for week 34. As always, guys, make sure you predict the championship as well in the comments down below too. So I will be predicting match day 35, but I think 36 is going to be one that I'm going to be doing on my community post, because that's going to be days before I do my exam. And quite honestly, I am very stressed about it at the moment, and I'm not feeling 100%. So if my voice was a bit croaky, I do apologize, but definitely need to try and keep this going. If you guys enjoyed, please smash the like button. It really, really does help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button too. It really, really helps. So please share as well. All 3 of these things are free to do, and it really do help the growth of this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary for signing in this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.